Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
So that's a council thing.
I know SA Planning's bringing in a thing where the front of your house has to appear a particular way or be presentable. So if you're on the wrong angled street, how do you do that?
I just have to wonder why councils think it's any of their business what we live in.
I think it's SA Planning that are telling the councils.
Oh, SA Planning. So why
Mm,
do SA Planning think it's their business what we live in?
no
That's the
idea.
same as around, like with fences. You're not allowed to
Oh,
have
yes.
fences so high and all of that. And I think,
Yeah, yeah,
why not?
yeah. Well,
Why not?
our
It's just,
council's just said you're not allowed to burn in the residential part of the town. We're on 9 acres, but we're all residential. They've had to bring in a little, oh, well, you can burn between these dates and these dates, but that'll be the last time you can. So we've got a bonfire we've been building for the last decade. And
Mm,
it's like, oh, we're going to have to do it. So, yeah, have to have a Bonnie. And
mm.
yeah, so there's
Yeah, well,
lots
we'd
of
be in the
changes
time of
coming.
year where it wouldn't be fire ban at the moment, would it?
Yeah, they decided that you weren't allowed to burn anything one from the 1st of May, and fire ban finishes 30th of April.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's why I think they've had a lot of backlash from it. So now they've given us a couple of months grace. So we've got May
right,
and June that we can burn off for the last time, burn our big piles.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff comes from city and suburban stuff, and it doesn't necessarily fit the rural narrative. So they bring in
But
overarching.
even in cities, I know you've got to have a rule,
Mm.
but they sort of, I wish what built into it was the rule and then here are the exceptions.
Yeah.
Whereas they're not built that way. Because I just look and I think, I do understand some of the rules, like,
Mm.
oh, thank goodness. Here in the city, we're not supposed to have roosters.
Oh, yes.
And every now and then you'll get someone that's got a rooster. I tell you what, the hens drive you enough batty because like we've got our houses, our blocks are like this. It's like the roosters are by my ear,
Yeah.
and the chooks, like
Mm.
when they cackle, 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 I've got an egg.
Yes.
Like, it's just like so loud, so different to when you're in the country. So,
Yeah.
so I am glad that technically you're not allowed to have roosters, though obviously
Mm.
some people don't follow the rules, but you can then actually complain
Mm.
and, they have to get rid of their rooster.
Mm.
Um, and with hens, I don't know whether you're allowed to have two or three. I can't remember
Yeah.
now. It's only two or three. And I think, yeah, because where we were, oh, let me tell you this story. It was so cute. I'm at my desk and I can look out just straight out the front yard where my desk is. And I look up and I thought, that's some little, they were just the cutest little, some sort of either a silky or a bantam. I can't quite
Mm.
remember now, but these cutest little chickens were scuffing around in my front yard. And it's like, where on earth did these come from? So you know that they're a pet of some
Mm.
description. So anyway, I head out there. One of my daughters was with me, and there we are trying to round up this these couple of these chooks. I had a cat cage. So it's
Mm.
like, well, where are we going to put the chooks? And then who on earth is it that's got chooks?
Mm.
And they were really quite friendly. So I got them into the cage.
Mm.
And then I'm thinking, where do I didn't even know where to start to find the owners. So I just started door knocking up the
Mm.
street and I got quite a few houses up, probably about 8 houses up. And I just said at the church, she goes, no. She was slightly unpleasant. No. I said, oh, well, have you got any idea who would have any chickens? Yes, she said, it's the house behind me. They drive me nuts. I wish you just got rid of it.
Oh no, and you're taking them back.
She said, they're driving me nuts. All I can hear is chickens squawking all day. And
Yeah.
so
Oh.
then, yes, so they were actually, so I had to go down round the whole block and then of course I'm trying to work out where their house is, so which
In
house would be
relation.
behind theirs. Yes. So I got nearly there, but it was really lovely because then they showed me they had more than three, so
Yes.
why they're making a lot of noise, but very cute.
Oh dear.
And you could hear, and so I thought, well, I can understand in suburbia areas that we do need sort of regulations on things like that, because people tend to only think about themselves and not necessarily how they're impacting their neighbours, which when you're close to your neighbours,
the impact is greater.
We need to think about how we're impacting. And whereas if you're on much bigger blocks of land, it's not as big a issue, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think most people that live in country towns are kind of used to them, but they're actually going to limit much more how many chooks you can have, limit much more how many cats and dogs you can have too. So we've had broader sizes here, but that's all about to come down big time. And so many of these things have been brought in during COVID, and it's like they've just slid into the into the systems while we've all been
I think
distracted.
you're always only allowed to have a certain number of dogs and cats, though, weren't you?
Yes, but they're going to pretty well
make it less
in our area. It's coming right back. I think if you've already got the animals, it's fine. But you can't, if you've got so many, you can't add to them. But I think, some people on a large block could have 20 chooks comfortably. But I think they're going to limit it to about 4. So.
Because I look at those quarter-acre blocks, for example, which are really common in rural towns.
Well, the quarter-acre is the smallest we have in our town.
Yeah, exactly. So you just look and you think, like you can comfortably have at least a dozen chooks anyway on a quarter-acre block and not be impacting your neighbours.
Yes, and that's the sort of backlash they're going to get, because in a lot of places, like we've got 13 lots, 7 of them are quarter acre and 6 are half acre. I think they're half. Or are they full? Can't remember. But even right down in town, I've got the friend with lots of chooks. She's got, she'd have a full half acre there. So that's a lot of land. Yeah.
Oh, and so long as you are looking after them, I do think that it's a good thing that if you've got neighbours who are doing the wrong thing with their livestock that's on, that it's good if we've got an avenue. If you can't, because obviously we should just talk to our neighbour, but sometimes they're just not open to discussion.
Yeah.
And so it is a good thing if we can go somewhere and actually get assistance to manage those relationships. But just coming in and telling us what we can and can't do is really, I don't know, it's a bit of government overreach, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, my concern is that they're designing everything to fit a 300 square metre block. And most of my friends live on between 1,000 and 2,000 square metres if they've got a small property.
Even here, a 200 square metre block is small. Actually, the block I'm on is not much bigger than that. It's only about 226, but this is one of the small blocks. A lot of there's still a lot of houses that are more than 800 to 900 square metres. And the other place that I was on, that was 680, I want to say.
Yep.
So between the 500 and 700 is still relatively common. And you think, well, the need, a 200 square metre block, especially if you're all next to each other, there's not much space between your houses.
That's right, yeah. So in that case, a couple of chooks is plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really unfortunate, isn't it, that they try and make rules for, I don't know, for the lowest common denominator, and often that's not actually what's the average.
Exactly. Yeah.
600 square metres, you were saying?
600 square metre block. So They went from 900, which was a quarter acre block, which was normal when I was young. And
Mm.
they went down, and that's a quarter of an acre. Then they went down to about 600 to 700 square meters, and that's a sixth of an acre. And they seemed small to a lot of people in those days.
They did, yeah.
But now 300 is common, like square meters, so that you're getting 2 or 3 out of a normal block of land.
Mm. I think mostly around here they're probably 300 to 400. Are some of the newer builds,
Yeah,
and even up to 500 still, even some
Yeah.
of the new builds. The thing is, most people can't afford a bigger block of land than that because the prices have gone up so much.
yeah, yeah. The land's worth so much more. When I was young and we bought my first home, the land was the cheapest thing, and now the land is more expensive than it cost to build the house.
Mm,
So
mm,
it was very different back
mm,
then. So
mm.
mm,
Yeah, I know. Well, people living in the cities, they need $750,000 to just get an
yeah,
average house.
yeah.
It's
Mm.
crazy, isn't it?
And it's nearly hit 1 million here in Adelaide as the average, I think. There was a
Yeah.
news story the other day that our prices have gone up more than other people's in ratio wise. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, you're just saying it's kind of, God, could you? Well, you've either got to have a really high income or you've got to have a really high deposit
Mm.
to be able to afford that,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
Mm,
And that's the reason places are still cheaper out here too, is that the way the banks are designed, you have to have 30% deposit minimum to buy in the
mm,
country, whereas in the city you can get away with, I don't know, 10 or 5 sometimes, depending on the
mm,
plan you're going with.
mm,
I don't know how they do it. I really don't. And you
mm.
see people living in Sydney, and you see those house shows, and oh yeah, it's 2.5. Oh yeah, we can do that. And I'm thinking, how? It's a it's so different from here. It's detached. Like the economy is just completely different.
Yeah, you need to be on a really good income to be able to save enough money to get a big enough deposit, don't
Yeah.
you?
And
So
then
that
to
you
pay the
can.
thing off. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow Life Hacks Beyond Convention.